positivity. And we want to salute you, thank you, you who have subscribed to our channel, you who has liked our videos, you who has commented, returning and new subscribers. We really thank you. May the Lord bless you, may the Lord enlarge you, may the Lord be with you, may the Lord protect you together with your family. We don't take it for granted, guys, and we appreciate a lot. Now, guys, today I want us to enter business class in the airplane and go all the way to the Caribbeans, to the land we all love, the land of wood and water, Jamaica. And this is where I want us to look at today. And I want us to concentrate on the motto of Jamaica. Because, guys, there is power in what you declare. There is power in what you say. There is power in the words of your mouth. And we have seen it all. This motto of Jamaica has worked miracles. I tell you, has worked miracles. And I want us to see how much this motto has worked. I'm going to start by giving a brief history of the starting of Jamaica as a country. The land of Jamaica, first of all, has faced the worst catastrophe in the world. Call it earthquakes, hurricanes, famine, invasion by pests, drought, but it has endured all that. Let me call her a woman, because this woman, guys, have fought. This woman has endured like a woman giving birth. It has endured the pain. It has endured the hardships. It has endured the ups and downs of life to stand firm and produce good fruits that we all admire now. And we are all going to Jamaica to see and to celebrate. It has evolved and become the greatest tourist attraction in the whole world. It has produced great athletes. It has succeeded in winning a lot of football matches. It has done a lot of good in music. It is the source of the reggae music. Not even that. It was the source of the freedom of some of the African countries that we see today. It's not a secret. This country, there are so many countries that have faced these difficulties and these ups and downs, and they didn't bounce back. But this small country with a very low population has endured all this and bounced back like a strong mother, like a strong woman it is. So, I want us to look back at where Jamaica started. The first people to enter Jamaica were the Taino people. They had come from Southern America. They were actually Indians. When these people came to Jamaica, they found a good place to cultivate, to have agriculture, actually to do agriculture. And they settled around the river banks and even around the oceans because they wanted to survive through fishing. And that is what they did. And they stayed in Jamaica for quite some time. Then later, they were joined by the Spanish people. And the Spanish people were stronger than the Taino people because the Taino people actually resisted them, but they were overcome by the Spanish people, and they were actually given hard labor like slaves. They were punished through starvation, and there were diseases from the western side, and these people could not endure. And most of them passed. Actually, most of them chose to commit suicide rather than surrender to the Spanish as slaves. Can you see how strong these people were? And we see the people of Jamaica are very strong. Actually, the other day I was watching a motion in their parliament. They are ready to stand for their rights. They are ready to talk about what they want in their country. And therefore, the Taino people were sort of wiped by the Spanish government. And the Spanish government started importing labor, human labor, slaves from Africa. And mostly the countries that were producing these slaves were Nigeria, Ghana, and the western side of Africa. And these people were brought as slaves. They worked in the plantations, sugar plantations, and other agricultural farms in Jamaica. And they worked for these Spanish people until the British people came and saw that the Spanish people were doing great in terms of the trade in gold and silver, and actually the production, agricultural productions. And therefore, they started fighting the Spanish people so that they can occupy this beautiful land of Jamaica to be their own. And therefore, in the course of the fight between the Spanish and the British, some of the slaves that had been imported from Africa escaped and went to live on their own. I think they went to live in the forests because the Spanish and the British government could not be able to subdue them. And therefore these people called themselves the Maroons. And I think the Maroons were the beginning of the revolution of Jamaica. The strong people we see. And therefore the Maroon people stayed wherever they were staying, and the Spanish and the British government continued importing slaves, working in the sugar plantations, and these slaves were being given hard labor, they were being beaten, they were being starved, and a lot of things. It was very painful, by the way, guys. And these people, that is why I'm talking about the Jamaican motto, out of many, one people. So the Maroon people were actually, because they were very strong and they were resisting this the government of the day, they were actually given sort of independence on their own. And they were called so that they can be able to punish, to collaborate with these people, the British and the Spanish, to punish the other slaves, the other Africans. And the Maroon people, being a strong people, being a people that can love, I think that is where the love for the people of Jamaica started. They refused to support the British people and the Spanish people to oppress the slaves. And when they refused, they started actually resisting and talking loudly about the oppression of the slaves by these masters. The churches also came in, the Quakers. They came in and resisted the punishment that these slaves were going through. And many of the Christians that were preaching from this land, the British and the Spanish, the missionaries also were against this slavery, because they were saying, all of us are one. Slave or master, we are one before Christ. And therefore they fought against the slavery until it was abolished. So it is actually the Maroon people that started fighting against slavery because they were supporting their own brothers, their own sisters who are going through oppression. You see? Out of many, one people. This motto started long time ago. And therefore, the slavery or the slave trade ended like that. And now, we come all the way with the British governing Jamaica until Jamaica attained independence. But I wanted to talk about this motto of Jamaica. Out of many, one people. We have seen this motto working by the videos we observe. I've never myself gone to Jamaica, and I pray one day that I will. But I have seen this motto working a lot. So we have said in Jamaica, there were the Taino people, there were the slaves from Africa, and actually the Taino people, maybe they did not live to live their generation. But the African people that had come from Ghana, Nigeria, and the Western Africa are still, their generations are still in Jamaica. And we see these black people, together with the Spanish, together with the British, the Jews joined, the Chinese joined, the Indians joined. So Jamaica is a country whereby there are so many different races, but they live as one. And this is where the motto comes in. Out of the many people in Jamaica, out of the many races, out of the many, I don't know whether to call them tribes, they believe they are one people. And we have not yet had, I don't know whether they have ever been, those who are listening to me, they can tell us, I have never had tribal war in Jamaica. But I have had tribal war where I am, in Kenya. We have had tribal war even in, where is this country? Rwanda. It was very bad. Because people don't embrace oneness. People don't embrace love. People don't embrace working together. People don't embrace love, loving one another and supporting one another and being one. I want to say, I have really learned a lot by watching the Jamaican people. As Africans, we are supposed to learn a lot from these people from Jamaica. There are so many races, there are so many tribes that live in Jamaica, but we don't hear the fighting against one tribe or the other. They live as brothers and sisters because out of many, one people. And we have seen a lot of teamwork in Jamaica. The other day I was watching Colas Smith, and he was actually saying he has started another team. The original team, they could go cook and help people. But this team now is categorically chosen to go and give food to the needy. And I actually heard he's not the only one doing that. There are other people that are helping the poor people, that are uplifting the lives of the poor, that are touching souls in Jamaica. Because out of many, one people. They don't care who you are. They don't care how low in the society you are. They don't care anything. But they want to become one people out of many. I have seen a lot of, what can I call it? A lot of tribal war in Kenya, where I am. And I tell you, as Africans, unless we learn to embrace one another, unless we learn to love one another, unless we learn to keep our differences apart, and we see ourselves as one people out of many, there are so many things that are going to happen with years to come. I have seen even where I work, in my working place, people being chosen according to the tribes they belong. People grouping themselves according to where they come from. People favoring others because of where they come from. I don't understand why, because I believe, and I strongly believe, that none of us chose who to give birth to you. None of us chose where to be born. None of us chose which tribe you want to come from. We all found ourselves in the tribes we belong. We all found ourselves in the location we were born. We all found ourselves with the parents that gave birth to us. It is an awakening because God has connected so many people to go to Jamaica so that we can see it is possible. It is possible to keep our differences aside. It is possible to keep our tribes apart. It is possible to join hands and become one, even though we have come from so many different tribes. Out of many, we can be one. A one strong people that can conquer all. We have seen a lot of development in the land of Jamaica. People uplifting one another. Actually, I looked at the slums in Jamaica. They don't look like slums. I wish you can come and see the slums in Kenya. People right now, when there are so much rains that are occurring in our land, people are being carried by floods. And actually I'm so sad, and that is why I'm shooting this video. As a teacher, I don't even know whether some of my students have been carried because they come from those slums, the ghettos in Nairobi. Why? When God was creating us, He created us with a purpose. All of us, He created us to be people who can be able to touch others, who can be able to help others, who can join hearts and become one and uplift one another. But we have decided to disobey the purpose and the plan of God and segregate ourselves into tribes, into groups where we come from. It is very sad. When I see the Jamaican people embracing one another, when I see the Jamaican people drawing the out of the musicians, irrespective of where they have come from, when I see Jamaican people drawing or rather constructing the statues of the great men and women of Jamaica without even considering where they come from, I really marvel. I really marvel. And I want to see a Kenya that has been transformed, a Kenya that respects one another, a Kenya that loves one another, a Kenya that embraces one another without bothering where they come from. Guys, it has come to a point whereby when you give birth to a child, you don't want to call that child the name of the tribe where you come from. Because these children, when they go to do the interviews, the interviewers will check the name of the person and where they have come from. It has been that much. And that is why the politics in Kenya is actually bad politics, I would say that. Because people choose the person of their own tribe so that they can benefit from the government resources. Because if you come from my tribe, I believe that you're going to help me. If you come from my tribe, I believe that you're going to put the resources to where I come from. It has gone that far. God has created us in a very wonderful way with diversity, different cultures, different tribes, different beliefs. And we should take advantage of this to uplift our land. When I see a Maasai, I see the dancing of the Maasai, the beautiful dressing of the Maasai, and I embrace a Maasai as my own sister and brother. When I see a Luo, I embrace the culture of Luo. I love the Luo people so that we can all become one people out of many. And therefore today, I really wanted to talk about the Jamaican motto because it has really shown me it is possible. People can love one another. People can put their differences aside and build a nation, uplift a nation, join hands together to uplift the lives of others. I really, really admire the Jamaican people. It's not that we are, there are people who are saying, you are talking about Jamaica 24/7. We are talking about it because we can see a lot of differences between where we are and Jamaica. Maybe some of the things we are saying might not be correct, but according to what we are being shown by the people that are going there, there is slight difference between where we are and Jamaica. And that is why we are comparing and seeing the situations there and the situations in our land. So, as Kenyans, if you're to watch me, I would love to see a Kenya that has got togetherness, that embraces love, that embraces one another, that goes beyond the tribal barriers. And we uplift one another as a people to make a strong Kenya that cannot fall easily. The reason why the economy of Africa is going down because of tribalism. Because if it is my person who is doing corruption, I don't want them to be touched. But if it is another person from another tribe, I want them to be punished in the hardest way possible. Those we have actually encouraged a lot of evil in the land because of the tribalism. A lot of corruption, a lot of stealing, a lot of bad things because we are defending our own. We are defending our brothers and sisters. But if we can join hands and rebuke the evil in the land, irrespective of where people come from, Kenya can be a great land. Kenya can be the strongest land in Africa. And Kenya has potential. It has been rated as the most growing country in Africa. Kenyans, Let us awake and abolish these monies that is destroying us. This monster that has come to ruin us. The tribalism monster. And we embrace one another, and we build one another, and we celebrate one another for a great Kenya, a great nation, a great tomorrow for our children. Bye-bye, guys. I thank you for watching me. May you subscribe to my channel, and I appreciate. See you during the next video.